something huge is happening with XRP, and I think we're going to see the effects in the coming weeks. But for now, people are excited about the news that Wellgistics has announced and filed in an SEC filing that they are integrating XRP into their operations. Before this, we knew that Wellgistics was buying XRP for treasury management, and they were supposed to be one of these companies that was holding XRP as strategic reserves, but a little bit more has met the eye. And I did a little bit of a digging into their website and stuff, and I found something quite interesting as well, which I'm going to talk about in this video. But first, let's look at the price of XRP. It's moving sideways like ever before. It's bouncing between, that whole sort of nearly $3.10 to $3.30. It's got that channel going, and it's just bouncing up and down between that channel. Some people are actually making money with this bounce, doing leverage trades, very small movements and stuff. This is like the domain of AI trading bots. This is where they're going to make billions of dollars from arbitrage and like really quick flash trades between, micro movements and stuff. AI bots are really good at this, and they're going to milk the exchanges dry if the exchanges don't do something about it, right? The general market itself looking interesting. BTC back to 119 and 744,000, and it's only a matter of time before it reclaims that $120,000 per Bitcoin. As you can see, the market cap there shot up a little bit, so there's a little bit of a pump going into next week, into Monday, when I believe the price is going to return and start looking good. Ethereum looking nice, XRP looking nice. Let me look at Hedera. How are we doing with Hedera? Stellar looking okay, but Hedera was like the big winner over the weekend, as you can see. Looking very, very nice. We are still in greed. We didn't quite make it into neutral, which is amazing. It shows that the sentiment survived the FUD over this weekend. So that's a great place to start going into Monday. I believe we're going to see that $4 trillion reclaimed and upwards from there. All right, let's talk about Wellgistics. So Wellgistics has announced, or not necessarily announced, that it's been discovered in their SEC filing that they are integrating XRP in more ways than previously disclosed. So they're going to be using it. All right, let me just read that. Wellgistics Health, listed on Nasdaq as WGRX, announces plans to integrate XRP into its payments and treasury, filing S1 from the SEC July 2025. This move signifies a pivotal shift for XRP towards practical utility in corporate finance, potentially influencing future strategies of other firms and impacting XRP's market presence. Okay, that's quite crucial. Other firms are going to see this and, monkey see, monkey do. That's pretty much how things work in these places. Okay. All right, let me jump that. The SEC filing by Wellgistics outlines a strategic vision for XRP. It involves raising capital to accumulate XRP and using it as collateral for loans. This illustrates the company's commitment to deploying XRP in its financial infrastructure. Okay. The announcement has drawn attention as it demonstrates a major step in XRP's real-world application. The move could influence competitive dynamics in the corporate sector, potentially driving more business to consider cryptocurrencies for operational use. I mean, Michael's strategy has been showing us that for the past few years. Michael Saylor has illustrated perfectly how you could have done that with Bitcoin. But this is the other thing, right? It's not just the loans. There's more to it than that. In the filing, it aims to utilize XRP for payments. So that wasn't previously disclosed, I don't think. So there's a wider use of XRP that they're using. So they're going to be using XRP for payments, which kind of suggests that they're going to be using RippleNet for the payment system. Okay. Treasury management, that's what we were aware of, I think, and capital operations. So they're going basically all in on XRP. I believe what's probably happened was either they had a greater plan before and they just sort of released a little bit of information, and now the filing itself contains the full scope of what they're doing with XRP, or they caught a little bit of a taste of it and someone in management said, wow, this is great. Why don't we just go all in and do all these other stuff? And I think this is only the beginning. We're going to see companies of this caliber come out with similar filings. And shout out to, the Freedom of Information Act, these public filings that we're able to, peruse and see for ourselves. And we can see exactly, what it is as listed there. This is public information. If you guys want, I can leave this in the description section, but it's something you can just type into Google and it's fully public. You can see all the schematic diagrams illustrating what it is that they're trying to do. Now, looking through this document sort of piqued my interest because I am very, very interested in anything to do with the application of technology to healthcare or pharmacy or something like that, right? And I noticed that obviously Wellgistics, even from the name, has a lot to do with like healthcare, pharmacy, etc. Okay, pharma manufacturer, Wellgistic distribution, You can see all the stuff there. So I had a good look at their website to see what it is that they actually do, and it seems to me that a lot of their business is around technical provision of healthcare and distribution of pharmaceuticals in a more efficient way. And then I noticed this AI Power Hub, and I realized that they're quite heavily into AI. So they're heavily into AI as applied to pharmaceuticals and provision of healthcare, right? Distribution, pharmacy, etc., etc. It got me thinking, now that they're using XRP for their payment layer for all of these operations, obviously for treasury management and some operational purposes. I know that, Ripple has nothing to do with this, but something else that sits on the XRP ledger that they're already using is obviously XRP Healthcare. And as I was looking through the XRP Healthcare website, I realized that what they started off the last time I looked, which was a few months ago, as completely being developed, in that the XRP Healthcare part of it and the XRPH crypto and blockchain part of it have separated and sort of delineated into two separate legal entities. So now you have XRPHealthcare.ai and XRPH token, and these are two different apps, two different websites, two different groups of management doing different things. And you can even read the disclaimer. This is a Dubai healthcare acquisition and technology company focused on AI powered healthcare initiatives and pharmacy in the Middle East and Africa. And the other one is an LLC that operates all XRPH token wallet blockchain activities as a standalone legal entity. This is actually quite crucial because it protects each company from liability from across some of their other wings. Also niches down two separate companies doing two completely different things, one focusing on the blockchain and the token, yada yada yada, and the other one actually focusing on developing AI tools for healthcare, but obviously both still operating on the XRP ledger. Okay, and obviously the XRP healthcare token still goes to power the AI app itself. So I'm happy to see this. Lots of development going on in XRPH. Disclosure, obviously I have a good bag of XRPH tokens. I bought them quite a while ago. I've been watching them just move sideways, but again, this has a massive future, especially when people start to find out that you can actually download this app on your phone and save money on pharmaceuticals in the United States, like in Walmart and places like that. I don't know why this isn't more used than it is. If I was in the United States, I'd be all over this stuff. But even though they work with the NHS over here in the UK, obviously we don't have that discount thing yet here. Americans have all the fun. But look, these are all the organizations that they're working with, the token, of course, and the AI also working with similar companies, some slightly different ones, but mostly the same. And then I saw this bit here. Going public isn't just about raising capital, it's about raising standards. At XRP Healthcare, our focus is on structure, governance, and long-term credibility. So it seems to me as that they're going public. That is huge. To be honest, I've not been paying much attention to XRPH. I should, because they're running so many interesting projects in the Middle East and in Africa, sort of real life-changing stuff. And they have this magazine that comes out periodically, which, you can catch up on what they're doing. You can download it for free on the website, of course. I don't have this app, I have the other app, but you could probably get information from that app as well. And I hardly ever even look at the app, again, because for me, I'm not using it actively and I have so many other things to do with my life that it's hard sometimes to keep abreast of some of this really awesome stuff. But yeah, XRPHealthcare.ai looks interesting, and I'm sure that Wellgistics is keeping an eye on them too. Who knows what kind of collaboration we'll see coming out of the two AI pharmaceuticals and healthcare based platforms that are based on the XRP ledger, or working with XRP integrated into them. The future is bright for this segment of the technology or the industry that many people aren't paying attention to. Most people are paying attention to the financial end. We're paying attention to the real world assets organization, on demand liquidity, etc. But there's a lot going on in the healthcare sector, and there doesn't seem to be any competitors in this field for XRP and the XRP Ledger. Not financial advice, do your own research, but things are about to get very interesting indeed.